Sometimes what exhausts you isn't the world outside, it's the world inside. It's that quiet heaviness no one sees, the kind that follows you everywhere, a fatigue you can't explain, a weight you pretend isn't there. There are days when you wake up already tired, even after sleeping, days when you smile because you know how to, not because you feel joy. Nothing seems wrong, yet everything feels heavier than it should. There is a kind of weight the body tries to ignore, but the heart cannot carry alone. It isn't one specific problem, nor one isolated pain. It's accumulation. It's everything you went through, everything you held in, everything you didn't say, everything you postponed feeling. This weight grows quietly, almost politely, the way you stack things into a corner, thinking you'll deal with them later. And then one day, you look around, and the whole room is full. There are feelings you don't face, because you tell yourself, now isn't the time. There are conversations you avoid, because you don't want to complicate things. There are hurts you hide, because you assume no one would understand. So you keep going. You keep carrying. You keep pretending that strength means holding everything alone. But here's the truth you never learned. Carrying alone isn't strength. It's survival. Sharing is what courage looks like. The heart always tries to warn you before it breaks. It gives you signals, the anxiety that comes from nowhere, the irritability over small things, the urge to disappear for a few days, the sense that nothing fits, the inability to feel present, even when you want to. These are not coincidences. They are alarms, signals that something inside is too heavy. But in the rush of life, you ignore them. You tighten your jaw, adjust your posture, and push through the day. But a heart is not meant to be a container. It's not designed to store everything indefinitely. Sometimes the weight you carry comes from what you didn't receive. Other times, it comes from what you gave too much of. Love without return, support without reciprocity, empathy without boundaries, trying to be everything for everyone while neglecting yourself. You forget something essential. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is emotional survival. There comes a moment when the body begins asking for pause, and the mind begins asking for silence. A moment when emotional weight becomes physical fatigue, a knot in the throat, a tightness in the chest, a heaviness in the breath. This is not being dramatic. This is not weakness. This is your entire system whispering, I cannot carry this alone. And if you listen, even a little, something shifts, something softens, something inside finally exhales. You grew up thinking vulnerability was weakness, but the heart doesn't work that way. It is strongest when it is flexible. It is wise when it is honest. It is resilient when it allows itself to feel. No one was built to withstand everything, not you, not anyone. Often, the weight you hide is the weight that shapes your entire day. How you sleep, how you treat yourself, how you move through the world. And acknowledging that doesn't weaken you. It frees you. You don't need to reach your breaking point to ask for help. You don't need to let your life collapse before you finally look inward. You don't need to keep holding on a little longer just because you always did. True strength looks like this: the strength to share the weight, the strength to breathe slower, the strength to listen to your own limits, the strength to stop pretending. When you allow the weight to be seen, something inside rearranges itself, like a muscle finally releasing after years of tension, like a window opening in a room you didn't realize was suffocating. Sometimes all you need is a moment of honesty, a moment of compassion toward yourself, a moment to say, I can't handle all of this alone. and that's okay. Notice how these words don't make you weaker. They make you real. The weight begins to lighten when you stop blaming yourself, when you stop suppressing, when you stop trying to be invincible. Relief doesn't come from solving everything. It comes from allowing yourself not to solve it all at once. It comes from remembering there is time to feel, time to heal, time to rest. And when this weight finally finds a place to be held, life quietly reorganizes itself. Your breath deepens, your chest opens, your thoughts slow down, your heart becomes just a heart again, not the storage room for everything you've been carrying. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to pretend you're fine. You don't have to walk through every storm without shelter. There is a gentler way to live, and it begins when you admit that some weights were never meant to be carried alone. If you're still here, it means the weight described in the first part isn't unfamiliar to you. It means there is something inside you that has been carrying too much, for too long, too quietly. So, let this moment be a softer turning inward, not to fix anything, not to analyze, but simply to recognize what has been asking for your attention. Begin by noticing your body right now, noticing how your breath feels, whether your chest feels expanded or tight, whether there is heaviness behind your eyes, or a tiredness you can't quite explain. Your body often reveals a weight long before your mind admits it exists. Think about the last time you told yourself, "I'm fine," even though something inside you tightened the moment those words left your mouth. The weight you pretend isn't there doesn't disappear. It settles, slowly, quietly, becoming part of how you move through your days. Ask yourself softly, what have I been carrying alone? Let one thought come, not the whole story, just the first truth that rises. Maybe it's a worry you never said out loud. Maybe it's a responsibility you took on because you thought no one else would. Maybe it's a piece of sadness you kept hidden to avoid burdening anyone. You don't have to judge what comes. You don't have to justify it. Just acknowledge it. Naming weight is the first step in releasing it. Now, think about the emotional tasks you've assigned to yourself over the years. Being the strong one, the stable one, the one who listens, the one who absorbs, the one who holds everything together, even when you're falling apart, quietly inside. Ask yourself gently, when did I start believing I had to carry everything alone? Sometimes that belief comes from childhood, from moments when you weren't allowed to fall apart. Sometimes it comes from heartbreak, from times when you reached out and no one reached back. Sometimes it comes from responsibility, from being the person others rely on. Whatever the origin, the weight has been accumulating, and it's okay to see that now. Bring your attention to the part of your life where the heaviness feels the strongest. It might be a relationship. It might be a silence. It might be a fear you minimized. It might be a piece of grief you have not yet opened. Imagine placing that weight in front of you, not to discard it, but to observe it. What shape does it take? How long have you been carrying it? What part of you has been holding it the tightest? Now ask yourself a question you may have never asked honestly. What would happen if I didn't carry this alone anymore? Maybe the answer feels terrifying. Maybe it feels relieving. Maybe it feels unfamiliar because you've spent your life being the one who holds everything without ever putting anything down. But consider, even for a moment, the possibility that your heart was never designed to carry every burden in silence. It was made to feel, to break, to heal, to lean, to rest, to be held, to soften, to release. You have been asking it to be a storage room when it was meant to be a home. Now think about the moments when your inner weight becomes physical. The knot in the throat, the shortness of breath, the restless sleep, the inability to feel joy even in things you used to love. These signals are not failures. They are guidance. Your body always tries to lighten the load by speaking the truth first. Ask yourself, what has my body been trying to tell me that my mind keeps ignoring? Let the answer rise slowly. It might whisper, I'm exhausted, I'm lonely, I'm overwhelmed, I need help, I need rest, I need honesty. There is no shame in any of these truths. They are signs that your heart is still alive, still aware, still longing for balance. Now imagine someone you trust, not necessarily from your life today, but someone who represents safety, sitting beside you. Someone who would listen without judgment. Someone who wouldn't rush you, correct you, or shut you down. What would you tell them if you felt completely safe? Let one sentence form in your mind. Just one. This is the weight you've been hiding. This is the part of you that has been asking to be seen. And now, consider something else. What part of this weight is actually mine to carry? And what part did I adopt because I felt obligated? Sometimes the heaviness comes from responsibilities you took on emotionally because you didn't want others to hurt. Sometimes it comes from playing roles you never chose. Sometimes it comes from believing you must always be the strong one. But you can return those weights now, not physically, but emotionally. You can stop holding what was never yours. You can let your heart be just a heart again. Take a moment to imagine the lightness that comes when even a small part of the weight is acknowledged. Picture your breath deepening. Picture your chest expanding instead of tightening. Picture your thoughts slowing into something softer. Picture your body no longer bracing for impact. This is not fantasy. This is the first step toward healing. The moment you admit you cannot carry everything alone, something inside you unlocks. A door opens, tension loosens, the heart exhales. Let yourself consider the possibility of asking for help, not because you are weak, but because you are human. Let yourself consider sharing even a small part of your internal burden with someone, somewhere. Let yourself imagine a life where you don't have to brace yourself against every feeling. The weight begins to shift the moment you allow yourself to be real. Not perfect, not composed, not invincible, just real. And being real is always lighter than pretending. Whatever you are carrying, you don't have to hold it forever. You don't have to hold it alone. You don't have to wait for collapse to choose relief. There is a gentler way forward, a way where your heart is allowed to breathe again, where the weight becomes shareable, where you finally remember that strength and softness were never enemies. You can lay it down, slowly, honestly, one truth at a time. And when you do, your heart becomes what it was always meant to be. Not a container, but a place where life can move freely again. This video is part of a daily path, a space to breathe when everything feels heavy, to face what needs to be felt, and to remember the strength that grows from honesty. Tomorrow brings another chapter, another reflection, another quiet pause. If it feels right, come back. We'll continue together, one day at a time. This is Form Within Mind, where calm takes shape